I think you're on mute.
Workday starting to sound the same?
I think you're on mute.
Find something that sounds better for your career on LinkedIn. With LinkedIn Job Collections, you can browse curated collections by relevant industries and benefits, like flex PTO or hybrid workplaces, so you can find the right job for you. Get started at linkedin.com/jobs. Finding where you fit. LinkedIn knows how.
Wow, this house is cute. But can I really get in the game in this economy? I do have savings, and I am responsible-ish. I should bury it. I'm being wild. But what if I'm not being wild, though? Could I actually score a...
Kick off your home buying journey with Zillow's new BuyAbility tool. It makes it easy to find out what you can afford, so you can get off the bench and onto the playing field with confidence. Check your BuyAbility, only on Zillow.
In 2005, two brothers hit the road to fight monsters. That road has led them to fighting demons, angels, and saving the world.
It's a journey that is taking them to heaven, hell, and back. But they aren't done.
Join our journey as we go episode by episode, following the adventures of Sam and Dean Winchester. We break each episode down with the writers, producers, directors, crew, and actors to bring you the behind-the-scenes stories of how this legendary TV series was made. That guy right there, that's Rob Benedict. He played God and Chuck Shirley.
Hey, and that guy there, that's Richard Spade Jr. He played Gabriel, Loki, and the Trickster. And P.S., he directed a bunch of episodes, too.
Now, while we are insiders, we're also outsiders, because we're not experts. This is our first time watching the entire series, all 327 episodes.
Rich and I have met many of the fans at conventions around the world, and we are deepening our understanding of why you all love this series so much. Because it's really good.
Yeah, it is. Now listen, there will be spoilers, so consider yourself warned.
And thank you for joining us on this trip we call Supernatural Then and Now. Hi, everybody. This is Rob Benedict.
And this is Richard Spade Jr.
And we're talking about Season 7, Episode 5, Shut Up, Dr. Phil.
Bite your tongue, Oprah.
Or as it's known in Canada, Bite Your Tongue, Oprah.
I thought you were telling me to shut up and calling me Dr. Phil.
I was. Actually wasn't. I often call you Dr. Phil.
Close your hole, Sally Jesse Raphael. Maybe that didn't translate well, but you know
it didn't age well, maybe. Shut Up, Dr. Phil is the name of this episode. But before we get into it, we'd like to thank you, listener.
Yeah, and you, other listener. You two right there.
Yeah, the both of you. We're talking to you. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for listening to us as always. And tell a friend.
You know what, Robert? You just said a mouthful. Tell a friend. Because really, here's a philosophical question for you. If a podcast playing in the woods and no one's there to hear it.
Does a tree fall?
No, I'm saying we want everybody to listen. It's free.
Right.
You know what I mean? So why not? It's on Apple Podcasts, it's Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts. Tell your friends. I was at a convention. So many people did not know about the podcast and would get so excited when I tell them about this great companion, rewatch, after show, whatever you want to describe it, this podcast. Right. Not you as a companion.
Sorry.
The podcast, they get so excited. They didn't know about it. So it made me think, we got to proselytize a little better, buddy. We got to get the word out.
Yeah.
So
this is us proselytizing.
You guys help us with that. Tell your friends, tell your family. Listen to Supernatural Then and Now, the podcast.
There you go. Well said. And now, shall we get into this episode?
Let's do.
Well, the episode opens with a gruesome death of a local real estate agent, Wendy. Honestly, there was a point in this where I was like, oh, it really was gruesome. I was like, I felt bad. It was awful.
I can't imagine there's not a lawsuit coming to that salon, by the way. There's no way that they're like, I guess it was Supernatural. I'm like, dude, this looks like bad wiring. I mean, I know that I'm watching the show Supernatural, not the show Bad Wiring.
Right.
But I feel like this is definitely something that the cops, not Jared and Jensen pretending to be cops, actual cops, would take issue with the fact that a woman in a hairdryer got electrocuted. They wouldn't just go, it must be other forces at work.
Right.
I really feel like they'd have a conversation about the hairdryer.
Well, and also that her hairstylist really has got blood on his hands, man.
Yeah, man. Closes the sliding doors. What's with that?
What's with that?
And who has a soundproof hairdryer room?
I know. And she's calling his, what was his name? Like David or something? She's like, oh, David.
And then also, I missed something there because she gets electrocuted and she's flipping out. And at some point she's barefoot. There's a close-up of her bare feet. I'm like,
Oh, yeah.
how did she end up barefoot in this whole scenario?
Right,
Shocked the shoes right off her?
Yeah, that's weird. That didn't even like register with me. Maybe her shoes fell off? Anyway,
Must have.
she's in a hair salon when her hairdryer unexpectedly malfunctions and traps her head inside, burning it.
Burning.
Later, at a construction site in Prosperity, Indiana, a foreman on a major development project is mysteriously killed when a nail gun suddenly goes off by itself, riddling his body with nails.
That was grisly, by the way.
And a man was also boiled in a hot tub. Sam and Dean Winchester arrive in town to investigate these supernatural occurrences.
Wait a minute. Hold on one second.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the nail gun. The effects when they show the guy after the fact, that makeup was really good.
Really good, really good.
Like especially the ones in the face.
Yeah, yeah.
Like really brutal.
He had a nail in his cheek, yeah. And then the shot from behind. This is Phil Segrisha's episode?
Yeah.
Yeah, really cool shot from behind with the blood trailing down the nails.
I did think it was trippy that the nail gun hovered and went its merry way. We don't see a lot of enchanted props in Supernatural.
No, we don't.
At first, it almost jumped the shark for me for that beat, but then it recovered very well for the whole sequence. So it was just funny watching that thing hover up and leave.
Again, I'm trying to, the whole time I'm going, okay, what is this? What's at play here? You know, it's kind of fun to try to figure it out.
Remind me, this is going to sound weird. And I started this episode last night, okay?
Same.
And then I finished it this morning.
Same.
I don't remember a guy in a hot tub.
You don't see that they read about it. He's like boiled in a hot tub, not something you see every day or something like that. Like,
Gotcha.
So basically these things are happening and yeah, they're going to investigate. And it's a small town that everybody knows everybody. Dean investigates the salon and finds an ancient Romanian coin.
Yep.
After examining the victims, they start looking for a common link. They soon realize that both the foreman,
No, not the foreman.
both the
foreman.
the foreman, which is a cousin of the
Theremin?
theremin, yeah. The hot tub victim and Wendy had connections to a local wealthy developer named Don Stark.
Gotta say, great band name, the Hot Tub Victims.
Bobby calls and tells the boys the coin is Romanian and from the 15th to 19th century. They head to question Don at his home.
By the way, am I wrong, or could they not afford Bobby with this episode?
I know.
Awful lot of phone calls to Bobby with no cut to Bobby. And a lot of phone calls to Bobby like, hey, Bobby, yeah, I'll hold.
Yeah, I know.
They didn't even go like, hey, I talked to Bobby. We got one end of the conversation.
Totally.
That was also funny. Like, they'd have made him interesting, but it's like, hey, we don't have to take that tone.
Yeah, exactly.
All right.
Yeah. Oh, haha, very funny. Yeah, so they had to question Don at his home, and there they meet his appealing assistant, Jenny Klein. Anyway, they go to the home, and of course, we have James Marsters playing Don Stark. If you're a Buffy fan like I was, he was one of the best things about it. Such a good actor, and played a British English character on Buffy, and here we see his American accent, which he's actually American. But anyway, I think he's a great actor, and his assistant named Jenny Klein, and Jenny Klein is our friend Jenny, who became a writer on the show. At this point, I think she's a writer's assistant, and that's why.
Yeah, so this character, I was going to ask, is this named after her?
Yeah, and I even wondered if suddenly it was supposed to be her, but I don't know, because she was kind of a...
I'm not gathering that.
Yeah, she wasn't as funky as Jenny Klein, but yeah, this is definitely named after Jenny. After she leaves, the brothers learn that Don had an affair with Wendy, and that Don and his wife Maggie are currently separated.
Okay, now, is it just me, or... is that scene 2 pages longer than it needed to be? Like, they grilled that dude about that affair.
Yeah, and it got to the point where I was like, he has every right to be like, none of your f***ing business.
No, it was really weird. It was really strange.
I know. Also, a lot of import was put on, like, you got to get back together. Like, maybe some people divorce. Sometimes, that happens.
Yeah, they really were relationship experts for two dudes who've never really had serious relationships and whose parents they don't know.
Exactly. Dean continues to question Don while Sam sneaks away to search the house. And Sam discovers evidence that Maggie is a witch.
Ooh.
So they head to Maggie's home to investigate. Dean heads inside while Sam keeps watch out front. Dean finds further evidence that Maggie is the witch and targeted the 3 victims. They suspect that Jenny is next.
Oh, no.
The boys head to Jenny's house, where she's baking cupcakes for Don in a very gross scene. She takes a bite out of one, and there's a tiny beating heart inside. She starts choking, blood spurting out of her mouth. Sam and Dean arrive just in time to save her and locate the coin that seems to be the talisman for Maggie's witchcraft.
They made quick work of finding that coin, too. They searched the kitchen like, oh, there it is.
He's like, find the coin, Sammy. Sammy, find the coin.
And he found it. Got it.
I know. And, but Jenny never goes, who the f*** are you and how did you get into my house?
No.
You know what I mean? It's just weird. Not only was they're beating hard inside a cupcake, 2 strange men come in and like, we got questions.
And we just fired off a gun at a
had a coin. Yeah, exactly.
And now all's well. Yeah, she seemed very
Okay with it.
easygoing. And by the way,
Yeah. Jenny denies any hanky-panky with Dawn. Meanwhile, Dawn has gone to a charity art auction that Maggie's hosting to try and speak with her. She's resistant to settling things and tells Dawn that Sam and Dean aren't FBI, but are hunters, and she'll take care of them. And this was she's played by Charisma Carpenter, who is also, of course, from the Buffy world.
oh yeah?
Did you know that, Richard?
No.
Richard's not a Buffy fan, so he didn't not know that. But yes, she's had a big part in that, as well as Angel, the spinoff.
You did a Buffy, right?
Yeah, I did 2 episodes.
Did you work with these two people?
I did not. Never met him, I don't think. Bobby calls the brothers with a way to kill the witches.
We think it's Bobby because we never see Bobby, but yes.
It involves a spell with chicken feet. Sam tracks some down, and they've started to go bad.
That's a bummer when your chicken feet start to go bad.
It is, yeah, gross. Back at the charity auction, Don shows up to put the scare in Maggie. He makes the painting melt and decapitates her friend with a flying silver tray.
Do you think that other lady had a crush on the one lady?
It seemed that way.
I think they were playing that because she would like have her hands on her shoulders,
Yeah,
and the
she
one
looked
lady
at her
looked
hand,
down at
like-
her hand.
Well, I guess she's a witch, so she's like many years old, but
Yeah.
didn't really shed a tear for the loss of her friend.
No, she didn't really seem to care, which is a bummer for that friend who clearly had a crush on her. By the way, did you notice in the paintings?
Oh, yeah.
When they first go to the museum,
Yeah.
the first painting is Jerry Wannick
Jerry
and
Wannick.
his dog.
Yeah, yeah, it's amazing.
That was awesome.
Totally.
I knew it immediately. I'm like,
Yeah.
ah.
Yeah, I'm sure that'll show up in the fun facts, but yes,
I think the dog's name was Tula.
I noticed that as well. The Easter eggs of the crew, it's fantastic.
Yeah.
Sam and Dean show up after the fact and realize Dawn is a witch too, and they're in the middle of a lover's witchcraft spat. They head to Maggie's house to try the spell on the couple. Once they arrive, Dawn and Maggie are already there arguing. The chicken feet spell doesn't work.
Because they need to be chilled.
They need to be chilled, and these are already going bad. The witches go back and forth between arguing with each other and tossing Sam and Dean around like rag dolls.
I like that, the throwing around. They'd make a suggestion and then get thrown around. That was clever.
That was funny. With the boys trying to mitigate the couple's differences, the witches eventually reconcile, kiss and make up, leaving Sam and Dean both relieved and bewildered by how the situation got played out. The boys head back to the motel room. However, Leviathan Chet is waiting for them.
You know, you and Chet have something in common. We've discovered last episode that turns out that Chet and
Chuck.
and Rob
Not me.
both were into Mistress Magdala.
Yeah, Mistress Magda.
So they both had like a penchant for the same
Maybe.
brand of
We'll see.
lady of the evening.
We don't really know yet, but we'll see.
Well, they probably used the same sheath for their sword, if you will.
They fished in the
So,
same watering hole.
I
but
guess-
we don't know. We don't know. It's all Easter eggs at this point.
Yeah, it's pretty factual at this point.
But Don, so they're there. However, Leviathan Chet is waiting for them. Now, we've been following Leviathan Chet through a couple of episodes now. He's tracking down the boys.
yeah,
He's talking to his boss.
he's the guy who poured the nacho cheese.
It wasn't my cheese, but it was somebody's.
No, nacho cheese.
But Don unexpectedly shows up and throws a binding spell on Chet and advises the boys to throw the creature into a bottomless pit. It only lasts like 2 days or something, this spell. Don is there to collect a hex coin Maggie had put in there to, quote, take care of the boys. So he saved their lives twice. So the boys head out to take Chet to Bobby. Again, a call to Bobby saying, hey, we hope you got somewhere to put this guy. Sam confronts Dean about hiding something. Dean denies it. While this case may have ended in an unusual way, they both know that their greater battle against the Leviathans is far from over.
So before we even get into this, I got to point out something that's. We continue to all collectively agree that the Sam and Dean relationships are just bizarre.
Right now it is.
Yeah, right now in the arc of the story. And one of the things they're really hammering home, Dean won't open up to Sam. And the thing that's interesting is now Sam tries to get him to open up by using a marital spat and resolution as proof that they should open up to each other. Allow me to repeat myself. They're brothers.
Yeah.
They are brothers.
Yeah.
And then Sam is going, see how that married couple of many hundred years really needed to get over some emotional hurdles by opening up to each other? We should do the same. Weird parallel.
It feels a bit put upon and not organic at all.
I just thought
It's just missing the mark.
There's a lot that was funny. That last scene with the witch couple and those dudes getting thrown around was funny. We definitely leave. It's one of those episodes that's happened before. This is not the first time where they leave crime not solved. Basically,
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
they find out who's murdering the people, and then those murderers walk free.
Yeah, that's a little weird too. They usually, I mean, look, 2 episodes ago, he stabbed that woman.
2 episodes ago, he stabbed a girl
Yeah.
in the heart that Sam liked.
Yeah.
And now 2 people they don't give a 2 hoots about, they're like, meh, they're good.
Yeah, that didn't track for me.
Not many times, but once or twice they've walked away without slaughtering the instigator of the crimes, and it always seems weird.
I thought it was weird that Chet has been following them for a few episodes. So like this is going to be a big showdown.
Right.
And like Don comes in and just boom, just binds him and that's it.
Yeah, but maybe Chet, because Chet is not dead. He's bound. So Chet may
he's not dead.
come
He's
back.
just bound. Okay.
Chet may spring back to life.
Okay.
You two may live to high-five each other another day.
The band? I hope so. I've always been a big fan.
Is there a band called High Five?
No, there's a band called U2.
Oh.
Yeah, founded in the late 70s. Some of the greatest rock albums of all time. The Joshua Tree.
So confused on that joke. I missed
You said, you too may live to see another day. And I said,
Oh, Robert, you got me.
I taught by the best, which is you.
Listen, we've been having this conversation. I guess we need to segue into, can I segue into the next chapter here?
Please.
I'm going to. Rob and Rich. Ratings.
So again, I didn't love this one. And I really like I said, I like James Marsters.
Phil Segrisha, one of the best.
Phil Segrisha, one of the best. And it's
Brad and Eugenie.
Brad and Eugenie wrote the episode, who we know very well and are like real pillars of the writing room on this show. But something didn't work about it for me. You know, I love James Marsters. I can see the pitch. We got a show, it's about these two witches, and they go, it wouldn't be fun if we do a crossover. We bring these two actors that...
Especially War of the Roses with vampires, or with witches.
But it's stunt casting too, right? Bringing these two in.
Ah.
These are two really big players in the Buffy fandom. You're marrying two fandoms in a fun kind of way.
Right.
But ultimately, it didn't feel like a Supernatural episode as much. It didn't feel cinematic and all those things that we always talk about. It felt...
Well, it was tonally different on purpose, I think. I think this is a comedy episode. At the end of the day, they're building up to the sequence at the end with Jared and Jensen getting flipped around.
And is it supposed to be kind of like War of the Roses?
I think it's what it is. I think it's like we're following their sort of argument, and it's kind of War of the Roses-esque. And they get part of the comedy as they get flipped around while trying to talk themselves.
But see, you still could have done it in that scene. It could have been like a roaring fire and like...
Phil directed it. He's the master of all things cinema.
I'm not pointing
He
blame
obviously-
anywhere because...
I'm not throwing you under the bus. I'm saying there were choices made specifically to make this what it was. To my point, Phil, Mr. Cinema, right? So obviously they kind of went for a more comedic, did it as a rom-com.
Right.
And the lighting was
right.
like that, and the vibe was like that. And
For some reason, it came off looking somewhere in between. It wasn't like straight up comedy, har, and it wasn't dark, but it was just sort of somewhere in between.
Yeah.
I don't know. What did you think?
the same thing. I could never get a toehold on the vibe of the episode, of
Right.
the tone.
Right.
Again, I felt like they morally judged this dude about cheating on his wife
Yeah.
way too long.
Yeah.
It was just a long scene
Right.
where they really called him on the carpet. And I get, usually when they do that, it's to get to you did this crime because you have this reason. And it got off that point, and it just became, you shouldn't do that, man. You know, that's
Yeah, I felt
uncool.
a bit judgy, especially if
Yeah.
you just killed a monster 2 episodes ago.
Yeah, they're the wrong dudes to be holding up a moral measuring stick to anybody.
Osiris just had Dean on trial, and now they're like,
Oh, how quickly they forget. Yeah, so that was strange to me. Everything was comedic. The hairdryer death was comedic. The nail gun in its own way was comedic. I never felt like the stakes were real. It never felt like there's really peril in the town.
yeah, and yet both of those deaths were terrifying. So it was a little bit of both, but
They're gruesome,
it didn't find a lane. I didn't know what lane it was in.
I kind of felt the same way.
But again, it was really fun to see as a Buffy fan, which I am, and I really love seeing those two actors together.
And I loved the scene with the four.
That was the best
All that
scene.
was worth a fun scene. Like, yeah.
And Jared and Jensen were very
And the
funny.
melting the paintings.
That was a great effect.
Yeah.
That was a great effect. And the decapitation was well done, well executed.
It was indeed.
And that was a little bit funny in a weird way.
Yeah, but also her reaction. She's like, ugh.
Yeah, exactly.
There was another good bit that was great. That was very Phil when she's talking. She's like, philanthropy means so much to me, and art has always been not there. Don't put the ice buckets there. Like in the
Yeah.
middle of the speech, she breaks out.
Yeah.
That was well done.
Yeah.
There's a lot that was well done. There's a lot that was fun.
There's
It
some-
just somehow didn't all glue together to make what we usually would say is a perfect episode of Supernatural. It was just
Great, Phil, some great shots. It was a great shot of the car. It was like of the car racing along, and it looked like he was really far away and on an extreme
zoom lens.
On a zoom lens, like a 70s movie.
I liked the nails going through the porta potty. I thought that was real. All like when you'd be in the back of the thing, and the nails would come through with blood on them, like thunk. Like it was really gruesome.
Yeah.
We gotta get to the facial hair, buddy.
Yeah, you go first.
Okay. I am giving this. Let me tell you what I'm giving this.
Okay.
And you're gonna flip when I tell you. I have to look up the reference because you're just gonna go, wow, Rich really nailed it. He's really interesting with this review
Can't wait.
that he just gave.
Pins and needles.
I am giving this Okay.
Uh-huh.
I'm giving this the Maynard G. Krebs.
Okay. And that
Maynard G. Krebs,
is-
which was a character played by Bob Denver in the black and white series Many Lives of Dobie Gillis.
That's
he
right.
plays TV's first hipster.
That's funny.
And he just has what really is a goatee.
Yeah.
A goatee isn't with the mustache. When you add the mustache, you're now talking about a Van Dyke.
Right.
This is a goatee. So
Yeah.
it's just the hair on the chin.
Yeah.
It's cool. It's edgy. It's interesting. Not a full beard. It's still neat.
That's a good one.
So you like what it is. It's cool. It's just not a full beard.
And for those of you just catching up on the history of it all, Bob Denver went on to play one of the most iconic roles in television, Gilligan on Gilligan's Island.
For all the Navy men in the house, you might recall.
It was funny. I was deciding between two, and the first one that I was going to do was when Leo DiCaprio has a goatee, which is most of the time now.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
all. He's achieved a lot in his life, man. A lot. But being able to grow facial hair is not
Not one of them. I just had a picture, now I lost it. But yeah, I'm going to go with the Leo DiCaprio goatee.
Okay. So we got a Van Dyke.
A Van Dyke, yeah, sorry.
We're going to the Van Dyke and the goatee.
Not the best, but it's hair. It is hair on a face.
And by the way, I don't know if Leo's one of these people who likes to name his facial hair, but if he named his facial hair Richard, then it would be Dick Van Dyke. He probably didn't. So we don't have to cross that bridge.
But let's just to say that again. I love the show.
Yeah.
And even the episodes that are just goatees are still fun. Love James
Absolutely.
Marsters. I love Charisma Carpenter. What they're doing is super fun, but it's just not that full beard.
What we just said is our opinions, and it's just that, our opinions.
True.
This is obviously a challenge to both of us because we love the people involved with this episode. And they do great work throughout the life of the show.
Oh, yeah.
Not every batter hits a home run every time they get up to bat. You're always saying, not every batter hits a home run every time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're always saying that.
Personally, when I'm acting, there are some episodes I think I do a good job in. Some I'm like,
There's
well,
some real turds out there
Yeah.
in your resume.
well,
Anyway,
it's better if I say it, it's okay. But hey, guys. So Rich was unavailable to be a part of today's interview. So I'm solo in this one. Cue the choirs from the heavens. This is very exciting for me. Really been waiting for this moment. No, we miss Rich, but the good news is my conversation is with Jose Manzano, who was in Supernatural's camera department for all 15 seasons. He was a second camera assistant during season 7. He transitioned to focus puller full-time for season 10 and started operating and using the Steadicam for extra cameras on the main unit and was the second unit camera operator for the last 2 seasons. This guy was a bright spot in the crew and someone I always look forward to saying hey to. And like Brad Creaser, he's right there with the actors, right with you, intimately in the middle of the action. Jose's other credits include Deadpool and Legends of Tomorrow. It was so good to talk to him, and here for you is my conversation in its entirety with Jose. Jose, hi. How are you, buddy?
I'm doing great. How you doing?
I'm doing great too. Really exciting to have you on. I can't believe we're on season 7 right now, but we could have had you on for any episode because you were there at the beginning, right?
That's correct. Yes, from the beginning.
Yeah, I mean, from my point of view, I started in season 4, and like you were just always a friendly face that I saw every time I was at set. You were right there because you're working intimately with all the actors, right?
Yes. Yeah, I'm sort of like in the middle of the whole camera department, so I need to be there. Yes.
Yeah, the action. Let's start at the beginning. How did you get started working in camera departments?
Well, now that you mentioned, I was in there actually from day one. I was there like a week late because it overlapped with another show that I had.
That still counts.
This still counts because I came in. I took a day off from the other job that I was doing, and I just came in just to come and say hi because like I wanted to work with those guys, and they wanted me to be on the show, so it was great for me. So I just came and say hi. They won, and so how I got into the show was I met Brad and Matt in 2000, I think it was, or 2001.
Okay.
I was a camera trainee. I was a camera trainee, and that's how I met them. That was on the show Smallville.
Right.
It might be Smallville season 1, and then that's how I met them. That was in 2001, yes. And then I continued to do my own training. Like it takes about 2 years to do your camera training through the union.
Okay.
And then after I upgraded, they tried me to bring me along, and we work on a small little other projects, miniseries, stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And then there was a writer strike by 2005, somewhere in there. So we got kind of separated. And then this show came along. So I was doing another show. I think it was Like My Two. It was a straight to DVD back then.
Okay.
And it overlapped, with Supernatural. I was like, oh man, I do really want to do it, but I have this show, and then I just left it like that. I thought I was not going to be able to join them. But then later on, they just called me like, we're going to get somebody else to cover you for a week, and then you come and join us. So that was very nice to them to do that for me.
And so they held your spot for you.
Yeah, basically, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. So,
and then you had your job at Supernatural ready to go.
Yeah, I finished that Like My Two, and then came back, and I started as a B second.
Okay.
As a B second. So there's two cameras, right? Like A camera position and B camera position. On season 1, I started as a B second, and Ian Levine, which is another great operator, Steadicam operator in town too. He's doing very well, and he was the A second back then.
Hey there, this is Richard Speight Jr., and I hope you're enjoying the episode, but we need to pull over for a few seconds for some messages.
This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Do you ever find yourself playing the budgeting game? Shifting a little money here, a little there, and hoping it all works out? Well, with the Name Your Price tool from Progressive, you can be a better budgeter and potentially lower your insurance bill too. You tell Progressive what you want to pay for car insurance, and they'll help you find options within your budget. Try it today at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law. Not available in all states.
Hey, it's Richard Speight Jr. here with a question. Do you say data or data? Well, at the Speight House, we say data. And for the longest time, I thought paying a fortune on my monthly data plan was just normal. Well, that was until I found out about Mint Mobile and their premium wireless plans that started about just $15 a month. $15 a month? That is a fraction of what I was paying with the other guy. No more breaking the bank to be a cell phone user. Mint Mobile has made it easy, and Mint Mobile has made it affordable. It is time for you to say bye-bye to your overpriced wireless plans, jaw-dropping monthly bills, and unexpected charges. Mint Mobile is here to rescue you. All the plans come with high-speed data, or data if you're one of those people, and unlimited talk and text delivered on the nation's largest 5G network. Use your own phone with any Mint Mobile plan and bring your phone number along with all of your existing contacts. So ditch overpriced wireless and get 3 months of premium wireless service from Mint Mobile for $15 a month. Data, whatever. No matter how you say it, don't overpay for it. Shop data plans at mintmobile.com/supernatural. That's mintmobile.com/supernatural. Upfront payment of $45 for 3-month 5-gigabyte plan required, equivalent to $15 a month. New customer offer for first 3 months only, then full price plan options available. Taxes and fees extra. See Mint Mobile for details. Thanks for listening. Now, back to the episode.
So let's walk through the positions, because I even get confused, and I've worked in the business for 30 years. So
okay,
you've got the camera operator on Supernatural, is Brad Creaser, right?
Correct.
And then you have the assistant camera. And what's the job of the assistant camera operator?
There's two, right? A camera assistant and B camera assistant. The A camera assistant is basically, I would say, basically is the manager of the camera department.
I see.
Along with the first AC, like the first AC, which is a focus puller, he's also drive the whole camera department when it comes to all the technical aspect, like getting the equipment done, like getting the right equipment for whatever scene we need. He's in charge of delegating, ordering all the equipment. So basically the first AC and the second AC, we manage the whole camera department when it comes to equipment, technical aspect of it, and personal. Like when we get extra cameras, we need to find the crew. We need to get everything all together, especially when we do second units. So we have to get all the equipment ready for, we get a schedule, and we're okay, next week on this day, we have second unit for 2 days.
Right.
So we need 1 camera, 2 cameras. So we need 2 camera operators, focus pullers, camera assistant, all that. So we have to put everything all together.
Right. And just so everyone knows that if you've got 2 units going, that means you're basically shooting at the same time. So that you have, Jensen and Jared may be shooting a scene on the set, and then a second unit will be shooting usually, either pickups from other episodes or inserts or whatever it is that you need these 2 crews to get it done.
Yeah, and sometimes it's a full scene. It's not just pickups and all that. It's like a full unit.
Right.
Yeah. So we just help out to make everything run smooth.
Right. And first AC is the focus puller?
The first AC is the focus puller, yeah.
Right.
Yes.
Right. And that's what you did for most of the time on Super. When did you become focus puller on Supernatural? Season 7?
I started as a B second, and then second season I went to A second, A camera assistant, and then I was sort of alternating with extra cameras at the second unit, alternating as a focus puller, but not full time, just when they need extra cameras.
Right.
And I did that for maybe 5 years, maybe like that, 5 years. And then I fully upgraded to focus puller when I was season 10.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Season 10. Okay.
But I already kind of knew the job because I was already alternating and all that. So when I jumped into a full time as a focus puller, because Matt Teachner, which was the focus puller at that time, he left, and then I kind of took over the A camera position.
Yeah, and that's not an easy job. There's a lot of pressure on the focus puller.
Yes.
Yeah, because it's like, if everything else goes right, you need to make sure it's in focus, and that's a big thing that everyone sees. It's a lot of pressure.
Yeah, it's a lot of because it's something that is embedded into the image. So it's like if it's out of focus, it is out of focus. So it's something I need to get it right on camera.
Yeah, man, I just as someone who really buckles under pressure, I can't imagine shaky hands over here with the knob,
Yes.
So you have to have a steady hand and easy nerves. And I remember getting shots done, and we'd applaud you. If it was a tricky one for you, they were like, and you nailed it. They're like, Jose nailed it. We're like, hey.
Well, I learned so much from Matt teaching me there. He's a phenomenal camera assistant and focus puller.
Yeah.
So he's sort of my mentor when it came for filming focus. But even then, I already had a strong foundation when I upgraded full time. But I still got so nervous.
Yeah.
Especially, when Bob directed, and especially him. For whatever reason, I love him. But it's just, I don't know what it was.
It's Bob. He makes me nervous.
But I wanted to, do a good job and all that. But I think it might be maybe the last season. I can't remember, but we did I can't remember exactly the scene, but it was very tense for focus wise, right? And and then you hear this pause, I say cut, and then you hear steps coming up to Sarah. I was upstairs, and then it's like Bob was like, "Who's pulling focus?" I'm like, me. Like, good job. And then he walked away. So to me, I got him. I wanted to win him over, but it was my goal to kind of
Yeah, that's really funny. Yeah. That's funny. That's so Bob, too. I can imagine that scene. Talk a little bit about your version of the Supernatural family. It was such a tight crew. We were all such good friends. I know personally, I've never really experienced it like we had it on that set. It was a special thing. What's kind of your version of that, the magic of what happened on set?
Yeah, definitely. I felt like, we were like a family, and it was nice to come into a show for so many years that became it's rare that happens, that you get a show for the runs that long. It was just so much family oriented, and I felt the love and all that. So I felt happy to go to work every day.
Yeah. Yeah.
And go through, sometimes we do work outside. It was snowing, raining, whatever, but we knew we were there to do a job. But at the same time, the guys made it so fun. I mean, Jared and Jensen, they made it so fun to be on set.
Yeah. Yeah. They made it like it was this gang, this group of friends.
Yeah.
All just hanging out.
Yeah, all hanging out, but at the same time, we know we're there to do a job, but they made it so fun to work.
I mean, that's the thing that as a guest star, the thing that I observed is that there's a lot of laughs, a lot of teasing Brad.
Yes.
But also when it got serious, like you said, when Bob was there and he cracking the whip, everyone really buckled down and got the job done when they needed to,
It was crazy because we know we're there to do a job, and sometimes, we don't have much time and it's crunch time, and we do feel the tension, and everybody just gets serious and we pull it off and we just get the job done.
Yeah.
You kind of know when you have the time to fool around, but you also know that you need to focus and get the job done.
Yeah. Yeah, totally. Now, did you know Serge before Supernatural, our DP?
No. I didn't know him
You just met him
at the show. Yeah.
Have you ever worked with another DP that worked every episode like he does?
No, he definitely, I admire him for that. It's just,
One of a kind.
it's one of a kind because, like even when he was sick, someone have to tell him, you need to take time off.
Yeah.
They have to force him to
Yeah.
take time off.
Yeah. What's the camera guys, you and Brad, what's your relationship with him on set? Is the director of photography, the DP, is he calling the shots for you? Is he giving you direction?
Part of the job as a camera assistant, you need to pay attention during blocking.
Uh-huh.
So you kind of know, okay, they're going to need handheld or they're going to need this head.
Right.
So you're already anticipating.
Right.
And we normally wear radios, right? So if I know I'm going to be using whatever head or any equipment that I need, I'm already on the radio. Hey, get this ready. We're going to use this on this configuration. So it's part of the job to be attentive as much as you can. So that the less they communicate, that means, you're doing a good job. But if they constantly calling you, hey, I need to get this and this and that means you're not on set, not being aware of what's going on. So you have to have the on-set awareness of what's going on at all times.
Yeah, and honestly, that's again what made this crew so good. It's talk about a well-oiled machine. It's not having to communicate those things, and you just know.
Yes,
You know what they're looking for. You know what Serge is looking for. You know what the show needs. You know what the boys need. And that's what was so good about this crew.
yeah.
Now you're in the front row seat for the action, all the blood and guts. Did you ever get like blood or goo on you or anything like that?
Oh yeah,
You did.
You need to be ready to get wet, get cold, like anything, because sometimes you don't have time to step away from set. You have to be there at all times. So if you're outside, it's going to be raining. You get your rain gear, you get everything ready to go.
Yeah.
Like for yourself and for the camera too, right? So it's all the things that you need to anticipate. The camera operator obviously wants to make the DOP and the director happy, right? So they have to pay attention in order to accomplish that. And in my case, I want to get my focus puller and my camera operator happy. So I need to be attentive to see what they need. So the less they do and the more I do, that makes you a better camera assistant, I would say.
Yeah, that makes sense. Even when it's cold or wet, or if like the boys are shooting blood this way and that, like a lot of times you guys would have plastic over you.
Yeah, we get these clear plastic bags that we use for the cameras and also for ourselves.
Yeah, exactly. In this episode that we're talking about, it's from season 7. There are these witches, and at the beginning there's this nail death scene where a dude gets trapped inside a porta potty, and then do you remember this at all? And then this gun comes and shoots nails through him in the porta potty.
You do have a memory of it, yeah, but it's so much long ago.
Yeah, there was a lot of that, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Do you read the script before? Do you know what things are coming in or do you sometimes like, oh wow, I did not expect this was happening today?
As a second camera assistant, you don't really need to read the script.
Right.
As a focus puller, camera operator, yeah, you kind of have to read the script and just to get a better idea of the story-wise.
Yeah, because I imagine like it was, coming to work was probably super fun because you never quite know what you're going to be doing on this any given day.
Yeah, sometimes you kind of like, okay, I know what this is going. Okay, that makes sense. That's what we shot this, and you kind of like make it up as you go and create your own story, and then at the end of the 8 days shooting, you kind of okay, that was fun.
Yeah. What was it like shooting the boys and Baby? I know that was always kind of a challenge. Like, how are you going to make that different? And
that was actually one of my favorite episodes, Baby.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. It's all from the car perspective, and we use a lot of I forgot the name, the actual model of the camera that we use, but it was just this little Sony camera or Panasonic cameras that we use. So we were able to, because they were so small, so we were able to put it like on the floor to see the wheel steering or the the accelerator pedal, stuff like that.
Wow, that's cool. That's really cool. And because the challenge in that episode in particular was how to make it unique and different. Otherwise, it's going to get boring. You got to mix up your shots, right?
Yeah, those little cameras kind of really help because you can put them anywhere in the car.
Yeah. And then when you guys had to we've talked a lot about poor man's process in this podcast, and that you guys do a really unique thing on Supernatural. Like you got, I don't know if Surge or who, but they built this thing so that you could shoot in the set, right? And make it look like, lights are passing by, like they're street lamps,
Yeah.
When they would do that, where are you?
Just behind camera. And
Yeah.
that was just on a set and the stage. Yeah, it get a little bit cramped
Yeah.
in there. But yeah, we had this sort of black wall material and they cut out little holes so they run these lights they involve all that because they started with something and then they made it like the little lights, LED lights going around.
Uh-huh.
So you kind of look like they're like far away in the distance.
Right.
If it was raining, they sprayed the windows.
Oh, right. Of course.
Yeah.
We also laugh a lot about like, some random scene outside in this show. Like most of the time it's raining. There's just like
Raining and at nighttime.
Yeah. And cold. So cold. Phil Segrisha directed the episode that we're talking about now. What was Phil like as a director?
It was great. I mean, he's he was fun to be around.
So fun.
He also like tried to do something different on every time he comes in and put his own style.
Yeah.
He wanted to not stand out, I would say. He just wanted to get his own style on stuff that we do.
Yeah, it's so true. You can watch an episode and go, oh, this is a Phil episode.
Yes, you can tell, and you can see that on set.
Yeah,
the way he direct the actors, stuff like that, and the stuff that we come up with.
Like in this episode, he does a lot of rack focus. There are a few in this episode, but do you remember like anything he did, like a Phil camera trick in particular? Anything come to mind?
Yeah. He always tried to incorporate like two shots in one.
Right.
Like a study, like from a close up and then reveal to a wide shot.
Right. In this episode, there's two actors from Buffy the Vampire Slayer, Charisma Carpenter and James Marsters. Do you remember like when new actors would come on, like stunt actors would come on? Did that change the vibe on the set? If it was a well-known person, like I remember when Paris Hilton was on the set, that was kind of a big sort of like, did it change the vibe when someone like that would come on set, a guest star like that?
Oh yeah, for sure.
I feel like it all starts with Jensen and Jared. Like they
kind of set the mood.
Yeah.
If it's serious or whatever, we just kind of follow along.
Yeah.
They're the one who kind of have to like, if you want to make it fun for a guest star, and then we just kind of follow along and go with it.
Yeah. And Misha too. I mean, Misha for sure also had an effect on everybody. He was such a part of the family as well.
Definitely. Yeah. Misha was great too. Yeah. Great as a character and also as a person. And they all three get along. Again, when they all get along, they always make it fun to be on set.
Yeah, totally. You look forward to it, like you said. So season 10, you became the first AC.
Correct, yes.
And then it's so sad in season 15 when it all ended. That was really sad for all of us.
When I upgraded to Focus Puller in season 10, I did it for 2 years. I mean, I did it for 5 years till the end. But at one point, I'm kind of like, okay, what am I going to do after Supernatural? I'm like, I didn't know it was going to get done season 15 back then.
Right.
So in season 13, I'm kind of like, I want to be a Steadicam out when I come out, when Supernatural is done. I'm like, I want to give myself 3 years to become a Steadicam up. But I didn't know back then that season 15 was going to be the last one. So it's kind of lined up perfectly that, I studied, I took some courses and I got the equipment.
Oh, wow.
And I started practicing 3 years prior to Supernatural being done. So when the show was done, I fully upgraded to Steadicam operator.
Oh, awesome. That's great. So right when the show ended, you were ready to do that?
Yes.
Oh, that's great. So what kind of prep? So you take classes. I'm sure you have to work out too. It's strenuous, eh?
Yeah, you need to keep a little bit fit. Yeah, for sure. And there's a couple places the Steadicam courses that you take. You don't have to take them, but if you don't take them, it'll take 3 to 5 years to kind of gain more experience. So if you take the courses like a boot camp for Steadicam up, so they show you the exercise, how to put it on, how to handle it, how to apply it, stuff like that. So, and they give you different scenarios. So it's a really good course. It's about 7 days. And the one that I took, it was in Atlanta. So that was 2018. And then I came back and I started practicing on my own or start doing like short films or independent features or music videos, stuff like that. So you can be ready when you operate. You have to be ready to go to operate, because there's no such a thing as sorry, I'm just a new Steadicam up. Like if you're Steadicam up, you're Steadicam up.
Right.
So, and I got blessed that I got the opportunity to actually do some Steadicam on the last season of Supernatural when we do like,
oh, great.
Yeah, when we had some extra cameras or second unit, so I was able to do a few Steadicam shots.
Yeah, I feel like maybe you did one in a scene or two that I did.
Yeah, possibly. Yeah.
Yeah, there was one towards the end of season 15 where I like explode through a wall or something, and I walk through towards the gang. You kind of pull back.
Yeah. Yeah.
What about when you guys had to do when you did shows like changing channels where you kind of had to change up the whole feel of it for a second? You're on a TV show that's the Japanese game show. Did that change how a shot is lit and how it's shot, right?
Yeah, it was. I think it was mostly the way we shoot it, and also it was mostly the lens choice for that. But it was mostly like lighting and set and wardrobe, stuff like that.
On Supernatural, what's the hardest focus pull you feel like you had to do?
Well, they're all hard.
Yeah.
I can't remember what episode was. It was one that you put the camera is pulling away on the dolly, but you have a zoom lens, and the lens you're zooming in. So it's maintaining the same frame of the person, but also the background changed, but they try to maintain the same frame on the person.
Like the Jaws shot?
Yeah. So it pulls out, maintaining the same frame as they zoom in. That's really hard for a focus puller.
Yeah.
Because everything is the same, like frame wise, but you pulling away, but distance wise, it changes. You need to change your focus.
Right. I can't imagine.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to let you go. Thank you so much. But I have one last question. Do you have like 15 years of working on the show? Do you have like a favorite Supernatural memory on set?
Oh, there's so many of them that I always stuck in my head. Is like, the guys, Jared and Jensen, they always made us laugh.
Yeah.
Any situation they get, they always try to take advantage of anything and make us laugh.
Yeah.
But it's hard to make them laugh. Like if I want to say a joke or something, a particular scene, I think it was a Chupacabra. I don't know if you remember.
Yeah.
There was an episode Chupacabra.
Yeah.
And then they couldn't say it or something like that. So actually the script supervisor, she didn't know how to say Chupacabra. So she was like, sometimes the script supervisor say the offline. So when they're on the phone,
right,
and she reads the lines of whoever they're talking to on the other side on the phone. So she was saying this line normally. Jared and Jensen were there, and then she's like, "Oh, and I can't believe I can't be with your mother," or something like that. I'd rather be with your mother hunting Chupacabra. So when I say Chupacabra, just that line, and that made it. So, you get the script supervisor, different boys saying the off-camera lines as they're acting.
Right.
And then I just say, Chupacabra. and that cracked them up. So that's the only one that always stand out, that I made both of them laugh, and the whole group started laughing.
Oh, that's amazing. That's amazing. That's a great story. That's a great memory too.
Yeah.
Yeah, and a good Jose story. Well, I'm actually getting on a plane tomorrow going to Rome for a convention. So I'll see the boys, and I'll tell everybody I get to see Misha and Jared and Jensen and Richard.
Yes, please say hi for me. Yes.
I will, for sure, buddy. It's so good to see you. Thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you so much.
This is Jared Padalecki stopping in to say hi and let you know that we've got to take a quick break.
Hey everybody, it's Rob. Well, this is one of my favorite times of year. It's spring. It's the baby days of spring, and spring to me means spring break. It means traveling. It means taking a fun trip. I personally am going to Boston and New York with my daughter to look at some colleges. And so when you're going on vacation, you need some good vacation outfits, some good vacation accessories, and a great site that I recently found out about that has all these things, Quince, which has high quality travel essentials at insanely good prices, like lightweight shirts and shorts and pants for any occasion. I got this was in the middle of winter, but I got a pair of cords from Quince, a good old fashioned pair of corduroy pants. And what's great about them, it's made with really good material. See, what Quince does is they partner directly with top factories. And the other thing is Quince works with factories that use safe, ethical, and responsible manufacturing practices. So you don't have to feel weird, like, where did this come from? Anyway, I got this pair of cords, and they're great. The material is great, and it's breathable, and it's has a little stretch to it, and I just love them. So I'm personally going to go look for a spring pair of pants so I can bring that to New York and Boston with me and impress the locals. So for your next trip, treat yourself to the luxe upgrades you deserve from Quince. Go to quince.com/STN for 365-day returns plus free shipping on your order. That's QUINCE.com/STN to get free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/STN, as in supernatural then and now.
There are many ways to entice a potential new customer with flashy branding and calculated marketing strategies. But at the end of the day, the success of a business comes down to the ability to close the sale. And for businesses like Thrive Cosmetics, Allbirds, or Skims, it's what goes on behind the scenes, making selling, and for shoppers, buying, simple that makes the difference. For them and for millions of businesses, that difference is made with Shopify. Businesses that want to grow with Shopify. Because if your goal is growth, your commerce platform better be ready to sell wherever your customers are scrolling or strolling. And Shopify will make sure you're ready. On the web, in your store, in their feed, and everywhere in between. Nobody does selling better than Shopify. And with Shop Pay, they boost conversions up to 50%, meaning way less carts going abandoned and way more sales going. It's no wonder Shopify is home of the #1 checkout on the planet. Upgrade your business and get the same checkout Allbirds uses. Sign up for your $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/realm, all lowercase. Go to shopify.com/realm to upgrade your selling today. That's shopify.com/realm.
Thank you for supporting Supernatural then and now. And now, back to the show.
Ladies and gentlemen, the next part of our program is mythological in nature because it's called Mythology, 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 Mythology.
All right, so Maggie and Don are Romanian witches. You've always been a library when it comes to Romanian content. So talk to me about Romanian witchcraft.
Romanian witchcraft, or as I like to say it in its native tongue,
It's very Italian.
There's literally like symbols over letters here that don't make any sense. It's VRA with a U over it, JITORIE. I can't wait to be corrected by our Romanian experts who'll be at a convention and scoff my pronunciation. But so be it.
Sure.
I gave it the old college try. You want to try it, Robert?
Vrahitori.
Certainly sounds more Eastern European than my Italian version. Both terrible.
Both awful.
That word is unique due to its deep-rooted connections to folklore, Orthodox Christianity, and pre-Christian Dacian traditions. I don't know what a Dacian tradition is.
Me neither, but you said it. Romanian witchcraft is unique for a few different reasons, Rich.
Romanian witches often invoke Christian saints, the Virgin Mary, or God in their spells alongside pre-Christian deities and nature spirits.
It has Dacian influences. Now, you were asking what Dacian is, and I don't even know if I'm saying it right, but Dacia is the name of the region prior to being known as Romania. And its core area, it is what is now known as Transylvania. Yes. There you go.
Nosferatu. Why for you not sleep? That's me, my imitation of Bill Skarsgård.
Yeah, exactly.
In Nosferatu.
A movie that could have been 20 minutes, but because of his dialogue.
It could have been short.
Yeah.
Romanian witches, or as I like to call them, Womanian riches, are famous for their abilities in love magic. Hello, everybody. Dim the lights.
I'm listening.
They use objects like red string, mirrors, and men named herbs like mugwort and basil to influence relationships. You know what? I think I need to spice up my bedroom with a little mugwort.
Yeah.
The other warts didn't do the trick. Maybe I should resort to the mugwort.
I always forget about mugwort, putting that when I'm making pasta. Just a little bit of mugwort.
Goes a long way.
Many witches inherit their craft through generations, making Romanian witchcraft a hereditary practice.
Well, that's sweet for those families. Witchcraft remains a respected profession in Romania. Note to self, don't visit Romania. And it is even regulated with taxes. Note to self, You know what? Because their motto is, tax the witch, feed the poor. That's funny. Wait till you hear this next batch of fun facts, fun facts, fun facts, fun facts.
The title is a reference to the daytime TV personality, Dr. Phil McGraw.
Well, I don't think y'all are getting along because you're not listening to each other. What you need to do is look each other in the eyes, tell each other you love each other, and get on with your life.
Very good Dr. Phil impersonation.
Thank you. When Sam hacks into the Dewey Stevens construction emails, several names can be seen which are references to Supernatural crew members. Interesting. I didn't see that.
No, but I love that stuff. I love those little Easter eggs. The bedspreads, Sam and Dean's motel room, are the same as those in the motel room when they stayed in episode 9 from season 3, Malleus Maleficarum, another episode about witches.
Oh my God.
Wow. That's a heck of an Easter egg.
That's a deep cut. I guess the witches don't be switching their bedspreads.
Yeah. They travel. The bedspreads travel.
They followed them. One of the paintings in the exhibition is of Supernatural production designer and producer Jerry Wanick and his dog Tula. I even got the dog's name right. Boom.
Good job. Good job.
Next week is another week with another episode. Show forges forward. We're going to unravel some more of this Leviathan drama, figure out what's going on. Maybe Sam and Dean will finally get married, fingers crossed, and we'll just keep going, see what happens.
Is Dean ever going to tell him about Amy? Jeez.
And when he does, is anybody going to care? Another question.
Well, if we don't remember, then they can show it in a flashback.
Yeah, 14 times.
Yeah.
Putting money in that woman's pocket. All right.
I'm excited. I'm excited to see what happens next.
Onwards and upwards, everybody. Onwards and upwards.
This episode of Supernatural features Jared Padalecki as Sam Winchester, Jensen Ackles as Dean Winchester.
Guest stars include James Marsters, Charisma Carpenter, Sean Owen Roberts, Meredith McGeechee, Cindy Busby, and Jason Bax.
Shut Up, Dr. Phil was written by Eugenie Ross Lemming and Brad Buckner and directed by Phil Segresha.
Editing by Anthony Pinker, music by Jay Gruska.
The music coordinator on this episode was Gregory Sweeney.
Hola, Gregory. Executive produced by Robert Singer and Sarah Gamble.
Supernatural was created by Eric Kripke.
This episode originally aired on October 21st, 2011.
This episode of Supernatural Then and Now was hosted and executive produced by Richard Spade Jr. and Rob Benedict.
Produced by Stephen Hine, written by Stephen Hine and Haida Holscher.
And edited and associate produced by Trey Booty.
Who made a cameo in this episode as a piece of flatware that decapitated a woman.
That's right.
Wait, no, that was not Trey Booty.
Music provided by Tim Wynn.
The episode was recorded with the help of Sonic Fuel Studios.
This podcast is from Story Mill Media.
Follow the podcast on Instagram and YouTube at SPN Then and Now.
And become a member of the podcast to get early access, chat rooms with other podcast fans, and video interviews at patreon.com/SPN Then and Now.
That appealing assistant, they don't know what you're into.
Well,
they don't know what kind of freaky shit you're into. You might not find her appealing. That's a very presumptuous, Steve, for you to think that Rob thinks she's appealing. Rob's into some sick stuff, dude. So, Rob, I'll handle this on your behalf. Obviously, I think she's a knockout, but Robbie, dude, he's into some sick, dark, sinister crap. And he doesn't need you judging that on this podcast.
If that part stays in the podcast, I'd just like everyone to know that it's not true at all.
The fact that she's got a great personality and probably a loving partner does not mean she's in Rob Benedict's lane. And this is the kind of stuff that when Steve assumes, it just drives me nuts.
Well,
so even though we've circled back to find out that she's a wholesome person with a strong moral code and really
it just said
great in the kitchen
appealing.
and cute as a button, not Benedict's type. We'll not be stereotyped like that. No, not on my watch. Rob, I've got this. She is not Rob Benedict, and I'm tired of her being painted into a corner like she's some kind of maniacal fiend who can't get enough, like Benedict. Or God/Chet in their spells.
Chuck.
I'm like God and Chet. Like you two are like attached to the hip.
Right.
It's like, hey, Chet, yeah, God, it's ladies' night down at the tavern. Should we? Should we? Why aren't we all ready? Let's do it. God and Chet.
God and Chet.
But God and Chet. God. Okay, let's try that. Now I get so excited about the show.
On what they call sex forward.
None of this is making it in.
But only with interviews.
This is gold. Trey, this is gold. Put this on the CD.
On the CD. Not the DVD.
Nope.
The CD, just audio only.
You're damn right it is.
Story Mill Media.
Hey folks, we're the hosts of Comic Sans, the podcast about comics for those who are sans knowledge. I'm Yen, a reader, writer, liver, and breather of comic books.
And I'm Nat, I used to know absolutely nothing about comics, but now...
So actually, I've got a quiz for you.
I still have a lot to learn about comics.
Thank you. On Comic Sans, I make Nat read some of my favorite works in the medium, including Saga, Daredevil, and the Flintstones.
And Yen talks about what makes that comic special. Sometimes it's a story, sometimes it's...
Paneling, gutters, page turns, colorings, lettering, semiotics, juxtaposition.
Okay, Professor, save it for the episodes.
You can listen to Comic Sans on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts.
You can binge our first 2 seasons. That's over 20 episodes on 20 different comics.
And we just launched Season 3, new episodes every 2 weeks.
On our podcast, Good Bad Billionaire, we explain how the world's billionaires made all their money.
Pop stars and tech titans, founders and filmmakers, inventors and investors, we cover them all. And for the first time, we're talking about a video game designer.
Yep, we're talking about Marcus Persson, the Swedish coding king who programmed the world's most successful game, Minecraft, all by himself.
He made $1 billion, but is he good, bad, or just another billionaire? Find out on Good Bad Billionaire. Listen on the BBC app or wherever you get your podcasts.